1 month. I have travelled Vietnam for 1 month. You will not believe how much I've spent. Oh shit! Yo! Not again. I wanted to start today's video off with some drone shots, but as I think you can probably tell, it is extremely windy this afternoon. That being said, it's so good to see the sun again. I think this is the first sunny day I've had, well, since being here in Vietnam. In comparison to the last beach I was staying at, this one here is much, much cleaner, as you can tell. Oh, got a couple of errands I need to run this afternoon. Of course, get some lunch, probably a banh mi, and also book my bus ticket to Ho Chi Minh City. And then I want to discuss with you how much it costs to travel this beautiful country. See, one ticket to Ho Chi Minh is approximately, it's probably about £6 or £7. $220,000. 1,250, which had 30 in change. Hello. I'd like to book a ticket to Ho Chi Minh City, please. Is it this one here? 34 people, 12 o'clock?
Yes.
Roughly how long does that take?
How long? About 3 hours.
About 3 hours.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 12 o'clock. 10. Ticket is acquired. I'm going to be heading on my way to Ho Chi Minh City tomorrow morning, and I'm very excited to, of course, spend the New Year's, I guess, celebrations in Ho Chi Minh. I thought today, since the weather is nice, it's very sunny, but of course it is extremely windy, meaning that any videos I really take outside, the wind is just going to totally distort the quality of this video. I thought it would be a good time to have a look back at how much this 1 month that I've currently spent out here traveling, backpacking and enjoying Vietnam, starting north and obviously making my way south, has cost me, according to Revolut, the banking app that I use. What I love about Revolut is the ease of seeing what each transaction is and does. We've got cash, we've got travel, transport, restaurants, services, health, and some other bits and pieces as well. We're going to break each thing down so you can have a look at the general travelling costs for Vietnam. I think it's important to note that I am out here at the moment in the off season. Of course, that makes it a little bit cheaper. If you start up north like I did, you'll notice it's quite chilly. You're going to need a jacket most of the time. You make your way south where I am now, and it's, well, particularly rainy. I also want to do a bit of a comparison between 1 month in the Philippines, 1 month in Malaysia as well, of course, to see out of those 3 countries which one is the cheapest, so that you can consider that when budgeting for your travels. The first thing that we'll consider, and probably the most important transaction that you'll make while out here in Vietnam, and that's your cash, or getting the cash anyway. Cash is king in Vietnam. Most places don't have Apple Pay or card transactions, so I think it's quite important to get it out as and when you need it, but also make sure you have a couple of million stored in your wallet just to be on the safe side. While I was in Ha Long Bay, I really struggled to find a cash point. I had to literally beg a hotel to let me use their cash point. At first they wouldn't let me, and then I was like showing them on Google Maps that I couldn't find one anywhere nearby and I needed it to get some dinner. So before you come to Vietnam, it's probably quite important to get yourself out some cash, I reckon, back in the UK, or actually no, completely avoid that advice. Don't get it in the UK or wherever you're coming from. Get it when you arrive to the airport. Yeah, completely scrap that advice about getting it back home. Of course, the transaction fees and the exchange rate will be massively ripping you apart but of course getting it here, you're probably going to be, I think it's like a 33 to 99,000 dong transaction. I mean, this here is a 500,000 dong note. That's worth about £15. So even if you have to, give them 99,000, you're only going to be paying like £3 in fees. And if you're getting out millions that will last you a week, a £3 exchange fee isn't a tall order. Cash is used for restaurants, activities, transport if you're getting a taxi, although a little bit later on I'll explain about the Grab app. Cash will be your best friend while you're out here in Vietnam. And for this month, I have spent on cash £323. Up next, you've got your travel, and that is £215. 3 internal flights is what's made up most of my transaction in terms of transport. Of course, we've got some buses as well. I guess it kind of falls into line with the transport as well, but Grab particularly, I've spent £123 on Grab this month. Grab is my absolute best friend while out here in Asia. It means I can order food when I don't fancy going out for it, but it also means I can get on the back of a scooter, I can get, from A to B with my bags, obviously in the form of a Grab car. £123 on Grab alone this month, I really don't think is too bad considering how much travelling I've been doing. One thing I will quickly point out, one of the main transactions I've actually made here is £47. That was from Hanoi to Ha Long Bay. I took a Grab app because the bus that I was on was taking far too long. The buses here in Vietnam is a bit hit or miss. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Sometimes it's great, sometimes they're going around stopping and starting every 5 minutes, dropping off and picking up passengers. It can be a right royal pain in the bum. Restaurants, it says I've eaten for £39 this month. Now, of course, that's not true. That's just the restaurants where I've been able to tap in, whether it's your fast food or maybe in the airport where, of course, they've had a card transaction. Of course, to keep my cash as heavy as possible, I've been using my card and tapping on every time I get the chance, and it means I just have more cash for when it's needed. In terms of services, £35 I've paid for my eSIM, and it has 50 gigabytes of data. Now, I do a lot of streaming on TikTok, which brings that down quite quickly. Shopping, we've got £12. Most of that is Moonpig by the looks of it. Of course, it just being Christmas, sending some cards home to family and friends. We've got some other bits and bobs as well, like deodorant and, toilet wash. Toilet wash? No, hair wash. Shampoo, the stuff you put in here. What on earth am I talking about? £2 for a haircut as well. That's obviously not too bad. What do we think? Anyhow, the total spend for my month in Vietnam, and I don't think you're gonna quite believe it, £765. £765 is just remarkable, and considering I've got all these millions in cash as well, it's obviously really not too bad at all. I got here to Vietnam on the 28th of November, meaning I've been here in the country now for 30 days. So 765 divided by 30 is £25.50 per day. With your hotel, your activities, your food and drink, your sightseeing, all the different bits and pieces, your mobile data as well. £25 a day for travelling out here in Vietnam is really not too bad. The good thing about my travelling so far is that every time I've moved country, I've moved around the end or the start of the new month. So it's really allowed me to look back and see kind of how much everything has cost. My total so far since I started this new account when I started travelling is £3,133. As you can kind of see, it started from the top and made its way down. We've been gradually getting cheaper and cheaper, and hopefully now I'm heading to Cambodia next week. That's only going to continue in that direction. 1 month in the Philippines was £1,487. 1 month in Malaysia was £880. And with Vietnam costing me £765, that's almost half of what I spent in the Philippines alone. The other cool thing as well, I could have made that much less expensive. I've got to be completely honest, I've been eating a lot recently. With it being Christmas time, I've just been going out and about, eating a bit nicer, eating from restaurants that I don't necessarily need to eat from, I just wanted to, and also staying in hotels as well, of course, makes it that little bit more expensive. Anyhow, that's about it for today's video. I really hope that you've enjoyed and appreciate the honesty and transparency. Of course, these are the kind of videos that I was watching before I was coming out when I was preparing and, understanding how much money I would need to save. And I really hope that, you feel that from me as well. For now, I'm going to get on with preparing for tomorrow. Of course, we're heading to Ho Chi Minh City, so keep an eye out for that. Of course, I post on Mondays and Thursdays. You can't miss them. And I'll see you in my next video.